This first flute is made from river cane, Rudinaria gigantea is the scientific name, and it is the native bamboo of North America. The Native Americans used river cane for baskets, blowguns, floor mats, and flutes.
Yeah.
So it's multi-purpose material, very important material. And this has the Native American style sound mechanism. But the fingerings on this particular flute are set up like an Irish flute, like an Irish penny whistle. So you can play diatonic scales. That's the major scale. If you want to play in a minor key, you just move up one note and let that be the key you're in, which is like the Dorian mode.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Wow.
Like that.
Did you have to experiment with the hole placement?
Well, yes. The way I bought flutes that were already made. I bought an Irish low whistle,
Mm-hmm.
and you measure from there to the end, and that's, with all holes covered, that's the pitch of the flute, because it's using the whole tube from there to the end. And so then I measured from there to each hole and got the number, the measurement, and then applied that proportion to every flute that I make. Say if I make a flute that's this long, I measure from there to there and then multiply it times those proportions.
You did that just from the penny whistle?
Yeah,
Yeah. No trial and error. That's good.
Well, there is trial and error in a way because it's not perfect,
Yeah.
especially with river cane, it not being a totally uniform cavity from start to finish. The Irish penny whistle is a perfect tube,
Right.
and so each individual piece of cane or bamboo has their own characteristics and shapes, and sometimes you have to adjust the holes up or down
Mm-hmm.
to make it play in tune. But all the ones that I've used, I try to make sure they're relatively in tune, because, well, that's just the way you have to play music, is try to be in tune, right?
And it helps.
But you can play another minor key, which starting on the fifth. And you can also play a major scale starting on the fourth. So you have four basic keys you can play in. The 1 and the 4, or the 2 and it's actually the 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the 5, yeah. The 5. So that's a diatonic flute. This is another diatonic flute that has a drone attached to it. And this is made from Asian bamboo. My neighbor had some growing in her yard, and so she always likes to have it thinned out every once in a while. So
Can make a lot of flutes out of that, I'm sure.
Yeah. So this is what that sounds like.
Nice.
Wow, yeah. I
really like the drone effect in that. It's really nice.
Nice harmonies. And
Yeah, exactly.
it also, when you overblow, it plays overtones, so it's not just one note drawn. It goes up an octave, which enhances the harmonies. And this is a large, probably the same bamboo. No, this is another neighbor. I have two neighbors with bamboo. And this is like a forest bamboo. It gets really huge, but this is a good size for the
Gets
flute.
to be where it's nighttime in there when they get so thick.
Yeah. This is a pentatonic flute that has a 5-note scale. This is what your traditional Native American flute would sound like.
Now, speaking of flutes.
Oh, yeah, that's me playing a deer bone flute.
Wow.
That I made from the white-tailed deer bone. And
that's going to be challenging.
Yeah, that's hard to play.
Yeah, you can't seal your lips around it.
No, it's an edge-blown aerophone. In other words, like a concert flute, you have to blow across a sharp edge. And that's what that is. Just sharpen that end of the flute, and it's so tricky to get a sound out of it.
How'd you get into this stuff?
You know what ethnomusicology is?
I think I'm going to find out.
It's the study of music and how it's used in different cultures. Ethnomusicology. Well, after I left FSU, professor came in and started the ethnomusicology department, Dale Olson. And when he was younger, he traveled to South America and lived with these Indians and analyzed every musical instrument that they made and wrote a book about it. And so that got me on the road to wanting to figure out how to make flutes and drums.
Is that where this comes from?
Yeah, that's my studio right there if you want to. That's what it looks like.
Just bamboo.
Those are two bamboo flutes I'm playing together. Those two flutes are called overtone flutes. They're really no finger holes like a regular flute. You just blow into it, and if you overblow, it jumps up to the first note of the harmonic series, an octave. You blow again, it jumps up to the next harmonic, which is the fifth. Blow again harder, it goes to the upper octave. Blow harder, it goes up to the third and then the seventh. So you play different notes by just how hard you blow.
Well, yeah, and you gotta breathe in while you're blowing.
Yeah, and those two flutes are in different keys, so you can play harmonies. So I'm playing harmonies on those things.
Do you have two mouthpieces?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. In fact, I used one of those. I have one that has three, but it has only one mouthpiece. It's hanging on the wall in my house. I used that in a song called Grace and the Mystic on that album.
Okay.
It's in the background. It's like three big flutes playing exactly together, but different notes.
Okay. Now we've got
That's the didgeridoo.
the didgeridoo.
That's an Australian wind instrument, probably 40,000 years old. Not that one, but the instrument itself.
Yeah.
You play the lowest note possible, the fundamental on that. The lowest note it will play, you have to have very loose lips, but then you also circular breathe. So you're blowing out and breathing in at the same time.
Now it looks like you're into percussion again.
Mm-hmm.
Well, is this full of beads or something?
That's full of canna lily seeds. They're these hard black seeds.
Yes, Native American maracas.
Exactly. And that's coconut shell, and I use that a lot in the Big Cypress documentary because the Miccosukee Indians, they used those rattles more than they did turtle shell rattles.
Wow.
Wow.
It's a big kick drum.
That's my
Right.
thunder drum.
Look at you, got your whole set there. Did you
Well,
make that?
Yes, I made all those drums,
Oh.
yeah. Hmm.
Wow.
That's a buffalo rawhide. Yeah, those are the more drums that I've made, yeah.
How do they sound?
It depends on the weather. They're totally susceptible to humidity, so I keep them inside most of the time.
Oh, okay. I have a question for you. I
Yeah.
was just looking back on this one here, and noticed you had one hole that was offset from everything else.
Yeah, that's
and
it.
you weren't covered.
That's a tuning hole. I discovered that sometimes you have to drill extra holes down there
Mm-hmm.
to make the octaves in tune. The hardest part with a pentatonic flute, you can't play but one octave. You can only play one octave. So the octave isn't that crucial. But on one of these kind of flutes, if this proportion from here to here is not perfect for the diameter of the flute,
Mm-hmm.
the octave won't be in tune. Like it may be really, really sharp or really, really flat.
Mm-hmm.
If it's that way, you really can't make a flute out of it. But because once you go up the scale, it'll be way out of tune with itself.
Yeah.
But sometimes drilling a whole extra hole down here helps, and that's purely experimental. You can see I drilled one
So
there
we started one.
and covered it over because
Oh, you
it didn't
did?
help.
Oh.
It didn't work. Plus, I added. You could see where I glued a piece on the end.
Oh, okay.
So it's a lot of nothing's perfect in the bamboo world.
No, but it's
Even
like
though-
you were tuning it.
Yeah.
Keep making adjustments to get it in pitch.
Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway, and to get this color, I use a blowtorch, or a propane torch.
Oh, I was wondering. I didn't remember
Cook 'em.
seeing bamboo that color.
Yeah, it darkens it. And you have to let it age at least 6 months to a year.
Mm.
You don't want to make it with green bamboo.
I guess sometimes you'll have like some of them that just didn't work out, and it's
Hey,
That's
man,
it?
I've got.
Graveyard
a
of flutes.
pile
I
of
have. What do you call it? A bouquet. I have this pot,
them. Mhm.
ceramic pot, and it's got like 20 flutes, and none of them are really neat, playable, but they look really cool.
Yeah.
So there's like a bouquet of flutes as a decoration, but I've got just maybe 10 or 12 flutes that I record with and play in concerts, and this is one of them. Well, these are all
Yeah.
some of the ones I
Yeah,
use.
nice case full of them over there.
Yeah,
And we definitely appreciate you showing us these.
sure.
I'm sure Bill Landing will be interested in listening to this video.
Yeah.
Sure,
Yeah.
Probably any flute player would be interested in how you're doing this and what you're doing with it and all of that.
Yeah, there's something that's very rewarding about making your own instrument.
Mm.
If you can imagine, that was the motivation. Can I really make an instrument that I can play and use?
Mm-hmm.
And it's a challenge. It really is, but it's fun when you do it. when it works out, it's really rewarding.
Yeah. Thanks again for
All right.
coming in. We
Thank
appreciate
you,
it very
guys.
much.